Hey there YouTube, this is 101 Bronson back here again, and today we're gonna be taking a look at my Steven Seagal DVD collection. And if I would have to define a love-hate relationship, if I would have to define what that is, it would be me and Steven Seagal movies. That would be love-hate. I love his early stuff from the 90s. Pretty much actually all of his stuff from the 90s except for Executive Decision and his first straight-to-DVD film, The Patriot. I didn't like that. I don't have that one, so we're not going to be talking about that, fortunately. His straight-to-DVD career from the 2000s, it's a lot of hit and misses, mostly misses. So let's actually start off. First up, we have some television stuff. His Steven Seagal Lawman show, his reality show. I mean, I know what. Oh my god, I know what. Here he is. Look at him. He's a cop. It's not act. I mean, the intro for this show alone pretty much says it all. It's like, my name's Steven Seagal. That's right, Steven Seagal, Deputy Sheriff. I mean, it's silly, and like a lot of other reality shows, like maybe Star Wars and Pawn Stars, stuff like that. It's probably a lot of it is scripted and fake, but I mean, the first season I thought was okay. It's watchable. It was actually interesting when I watched it the first time around. Now that I know how reality shows work, anyway, that's a curiosity more than anything else. And I also have season 2 of Lawman. There's no second takes. That's a tagline for it. Oh my god, this one is even sillier. Look at him. Yeah, make of it what you will. It's like a guilty pleasure, this show. It's like when I'm working, because my job is security, I work night shifts, and when I have nothing to do, I like watch this. It's like an episode of it, 20 minutes tops. It's the runtime of an episode. So, to kill time on a night shift, it's good. Next up is this other TV show, a fictional TV show that was supposed to be non-fiction, but this is the True Justice collection. This is the first season of it, and it's like they released it as like all the episodes are like an hour or something, so it's like a little movie. Better output than his straight to DVD movies of that time, I will give it that. But I don't know, this contains Deadly Crossing, Dark Vengeance, Lethal Justice, Street Wars, Brotherhood, and Urban Warfare. Pretty much the same generic titles for Seagal that they use for Seagal movies, Also have the second collection. This one doesn't have a fancy box set. This one is just, they did it like that. Anyway, this contains Vengeance is Mine, Blood Alley, Violence of Action, Angel of Death, Dead Drop, One Shot, One Life, and The Cutout Man. Yeah, I haven't watched the second season. I've only watched the first one. I thought the first one was okay, but yeah, overall it's not what I'm not some of my favorite Seagal stuff. Okay, now we actually move on to the movies. First up, we have this little box set, the Steven Seagal box of 4, count them 4, straight to DVD movies, and honestly they rank among some of the worst. Killswitch, look at the cover. They made him thin and young. It's like a promotional shot from like Under Siege or something, but he's already fat in that movie. Killswitch, probably one of the worst Seagal movies that he did. Yeah, nothing else to say about that. Belly of the Beast. probably the most fitting title for his career. Yeah. Title aside, that's actually a fun time waster especially if you're drunk. I'd say that's a good watch. You know, get some of your buddies around with a bucket of KFC hot wings and some whiskey and some beer, and it might actually be a fun time. But other than that, if you watch it sober, forget about it. Mercenary for Justice is next. This is actually the most decent one of the films in this box set, and that's not saying a lot. Because last up is Out for a Kill. God, look at that. It's fucking... Yeah, this was a box set, and I believe somewhere it says like the best Steven Seagal movies you'll ever find. So I don't know, it says it somewhere, but they're fucking not, okay? Next up, don't pay attention to the cover. I will explain it in a few seconds. Attack Force, you see little holes there. I actually shot the cover up with my BB gun. That's how fucking I hate this movie. Look at how they made him look. Again, like they superimpose this fucking young face on a young body, and matter of the fact is he's bloated in this film. Constant dubbing, like he says a fucking line. Half of the line is him, half the line is some other dude. Like he's on the phone, he's like, yeah, well, it's, you know, why don't we get together and, you know, we can talk about this, you know, something like that. Different voice. Okay, next up, Born to Raise Hell. Born to Make Shitty Movies is more like it. Having said that, that one had some halfway decent action sequences, and again, that's not saying much. And that one was a time waster. A decent time waster. Next up is Contract to Kill. The only one of his most recent ones I owe. You can tell his most recent ones because of the goatee and the fucking sunglasses in every movie. Hate this movie. Didn't like it at all. Yeah, Seagal is a joke nowadays. Next up, the only Blu-ray I own of his straight-to-DVD work, A Dangerous Man. Yeah, for making these movies. Okay. That's it. Next up, a straight-to-DVD movie again that I actually enjoy, Driven to Kill. This is actually one of the more decent ones, and believe me, that ain't saying much. He plays a Russian ex-mob guy in this movie. So he has this like Russian accent during the movie, and it's pretty hilarious actually. Next up, the last good, dare I say it, great Seagal movie, Exit Wounds. Co-starring DMX, and Tom Arnold is in the film. Anthony Anderson is in the film. This one I actually enjoy. One of my favorite Seagal movies. Next up, Fire Down Below. The last film he did with Warner Brothers before they canceled his contract, and he made a straight-to-DVD film called The Patriot. And then he had a small comeback with Exit Wounds. But this is the final one of his great ones of the 90s. It's always been one of my favorites anyway. I think it's my second favorite Seagal movie actually. I think this is underrated. I actually like this one. God, here come the crappy ones. Flight of Fury. Not a good one. I'm not gonna say a lot about these crappy movies. This one again, The Foreigner. They even made a sequel to it called Foreigner 2 Black Dawn. Yeah. The one movie he could have made a fucking sequel to, and it's The Foreigner. I would rather have Fire Down Below 2, to tell you the truth. I would much rather have that. Foreigner I thought was crappy. I thought this one was better than The Foreigner, but that's not saying much. Yeah, overall, no, it's not a good movie. His last theatrical film until he did Machete in 2010. Half Past Dead. Which I actually thought was silly and stupid, but an okay watch. Next up we get into a classic, Hard to Kill. This is definitely one of my favorite Steven Seagal movies. This one I really like. Next up, my favorite straight-to-DVD movie that he did, Into the Sun. This is actually his best straight-to-DVD movie in my opinion. Not that that's saying much, because compared in quality to his Warner Brothers films, it's like still crappy, but did like that one. The Keeper is up next. Kind of like a Man on Fire bodyguard type of film, where he protects this young girl. Thought this one was okay. Nothing great, nothing really terrible, but just okay. Next up, probably my third favorite Seagal movie. I own it twice on DVD and Blu-ray. Blu-ray's from Germany. Marked for Death. That's a really great film though. Say what you want about Seagal, but his early stuff like Hard to Kill, Marked for Death and Out for Justice, Above the Law, Under Siege, great films. Next up is Above the Law, or Nico as we call it in Europe. Yeah. His first movie. And a great one at that. Next up his first big flop, if you will, his directorial debut. Just like with Van Damme, he will never direct again. On Deadly Ground, with the legendary Michael Caine in a role as the bad guy. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme got Roger Moore to be in his directorial debut film. Seagal got Michael Caine. On Deadly Ground was like his first real failure, I believe, at the box office and critically, and I think it's actually okay. I take it over any straight-to-DVD film he did, any day of the week. Next up, my favorite Seagal movie, Out for Justice. This is my favorite. With what's his name? William Forsythe and as the bad guy. Jerry Orbach is actually in a supporting role. This is really my favorite Seagal movie. This is the best he ever did, in my opinion. Next up, let's call this one another decent straight-to-video film. Pistol Whip. Whip. As Stewie Griffin would say, hey, that's a cool whip. Well, Family Guy reference for you, yeah. Co-starring the great Lance Henriksen, right there. This was actually a pretty decent straight-to-DVD film. Oh, we're at the last bunch. Okay, let's stick him over here. Next up is Shadow Man. This is where they get a little more crappier, but overall this I thought was still watchable. And that's actually pretty much it. It's watchable. Unlike this great masterpiece here, and I use that really sarcastically, Submerged. Next to Attack Force and Killswitch, some of the worst. Avoid these movies. Killswitch, avoid it. Avoid this one, and avoid Attack Force, because these are really the bottom of the barrel Seagal movies. And again, that's not saying much. Next up, Renegade Justice, or Urban Justice is also a title for it. This again I thought was decent. This I really thought was decent. Unlike this one, Today You Die. Yeah, if I watch all these movies in a row, I will die probably. Yeah, Today You Die. Now the movies are actually threatening you. I'd say check it out for yourself. It's not the worst Seagal movie, but it's up there. And oh, we're done, thank God. Actually, some great movies to top it off. I should do it this way, right? Under Siege and Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Yeah, these are great movies. I love Under Siege 1, especially the scene with Erica Eleniak. I think you know what I'm talking about, when she comes out of the birthday cake with her bazooka boobies coming out. Having said that though, and Tommy Lee Jones is a great villain. Gary Busey is great in the film as a villain. Seagal, yeah, he's Seagal in every movie. So. But my favorite of the Under Siege ones are the Under Siege movies as Under Siege 2. I like the setup that it's on a train this time around better than it's on a boat. I don't know, as environment wise I like it being on a train more. It's like more fast paced, and you know, because a train moves pretty fast instead of a boat. So yeah, Under Siege 1, Under Siege 2, great movies. And those are all my Steven Seagal movies slash his TV stuff. And this is pretty much what I care to get. I don't care for any of his latest straight to DVD movies coming out, like Attrition, and fucking all the other stuff that came out last year. And he poops out 5 movies a year too, so quality of it just gets worse and worse. I mean, how the fuck can it get worse since Attack Force? I don't know, but it does. Yeah, he was once a hero of mine, Seagal, but that ship has sailed. You know, if he actually stopped being such a dick and actually lost a few 100 pounds, he could be in Expendables and have a huge career resurgence, but it's just not to be. Yeah, avoid most of these movies, because it's only because I used to be a diehard Seagal movie and I still really want to give him a chance, but on the other hand I'm done with him. So that's what I meant in the beginning of the video when I said this is like a love-hate thing. Yeah. I mean, when I look at movies like Under Siege and Marked for Death and Out for Justice and Hard to Kill, I'm like, he was once really great, and then I see at the same pile I see The Foreigner and Flight of Fury and Attack Force, and then it's like, fuck him. What's next? I think I'm probably gonna do my Dolph Lundgren DVD collection. That's gonna be a shorter one because I don't nearly have as big of a pile as I do with Van Damme and Seagal. My Dolph Lundgren collection is actually quite modest, but it's still, there's quite a few movies there. Now I'm actually in my bedroom today, so I can actually look at all the movies that I have. Oh yeah, I can do my horror movies. I have quite a collection of those. I have all the Halloween movies, because as you know, I have a Michael Myers action figure over there. yeah, I should also do an update on my Arnold Schwarzenegger DVD collection, because I've gained a few DVDs since I last did him. And I also have new Clint Eastwood movies. I see them over there. And I do have a few new Charles Bronson movies, so I might do some update update videos. And I'm gonna do my spaghetti westerns pretty soon. I'm a huge spaghetti western fan. And Tarantino films. I still have Al Pacino, Robert De Niro to cover, and Jack Nicholson, and Sean Connery. I have a lot of Sean Connery movies. So yeah, I have enough to keep myself busy. And I think after this I'm gonna record some live streams for the Jack 2 playthrough, so that's coming later on today. It's gonna be live, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and let's make a conversation down in the comments. What's your favorite and your least favorite Steven Seagal movie? And add to that, what is your favorite and least favorite straight to DVD Seagal movie? Favorite and least favorite. I think that could be an interesting topic. So thank you all for watching once again, and so long for now.